Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. Today we're pulling from the Astrology Answers Tarot cards. So in my mind's eye, they were showing the Page of Swords. So no matter what happens here, the truth will always make it to the surface. The truth will always come to the light. Whatever happens in darkness will come to light. So this could be that someone is trying to get one over. Remember, we were showing that spread. I'm going to try and hurry this up because there's a lot of cards here. I was looking for this one and I'm like, my gosh, this is like a reading. But let's just go through all of them. If you have to watch it in parts, watch it in parts or come back to it. But, if this resonates with you, definitely give it a rewatch. So first card we got is the Ten of Cups. So unconditional love. So this is where they're saying, like, if you've been going through a lot of change and transformation, you're going through a lot of purges. This is where they're saying everything is restoring back to what are being comfortable again. That's what Aya Wisdom was all talking about, is that, there's been a lot of changes happening, and we had to let them happen for us to move forward because we were comfortable. And in order for us to keep moving forward and get, out of that comfortability, because we have to change things, like, so purging our house, purging our life, you know what I mean? So it's like spring cleaning, but it's happening in the summertime, you know what I mean? It's just like, this is your call to do so. So all that they're saying, unconditional love, because you may feel like you're isolated or you're going through this alone. And this is a gentle reminder you're never alone. The Star card, so big blessings, major blessings. This is where minor messages, major messages, a time to learn how to ground our emotions in certain circumstances. Like with us, we were like, we had a snow thrower, we haven't used it in so many seasons, and I'm like, I was like, wait till we get a storage unit. Well, you know what I mean? It's like we're lucky enough to live where, people help us out, and, the gentleman will come by and he'll do my neighbors, and he's like, well, I'm already doing your neighbors, I'll just do yours. You know what I mean? And it's so, you know what I mean? It's just like, if I had the place to store it, because you're supposed to store it somewhere warm and dry. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to wreck it, but at the same time, I'm like, let's just, we need a bigger one anyway. It would have done the job in certain storms, and other storms, I don't know. We probably would have been out there for like 3 hours. That was the one where the motor went. It was under warranty. They replaced the whole model. It was a better unit, and we were very lucky for that. And it wasn't going. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, it's brand new. Used it. I went outside and I just went to see if it was working, and I put it back in the house, and you know what I mean. It has been used since. So if there's a gentleman coming with a big old plow, because when we used to live in the triplex, and it's like, he did definitely give us a deal on that, and he did the whole thing. And I'm like, well, there you go. You know what I mean? We can get in, we can get out. That's all that matters. So, you know what I mean? And now a nice couple came and they picked it up. You know what I mean? As soon as we put the sign on, it's free. Like, take it. It's brand new. Go for it. So they're showing the Four of Pentacles. Everything you're fearing. And this is where I love healing, Reiki, hope. She also goes under healing, Reiki. What was the other one? I can't remember the other one. Jet? That's what it is. Healing, Reeking Jet. And Anastasia talked about this. What was then is not now. So I can definitely see that. Like, I'm trying to make moves. I'm trying to see. And Spirit is kind enough to be like, remember it was this, now it's this, and now it's this. So we're moving in the right direction. You know what I mean? So we want to, it's like we're building momentum. It's a positive, it's like, you know what I mean? You need to see it sometimes. Like, we're going in the right direction. It may not feel like that, but it's like you're showing, like, I want to, fix this. I want to change that. Like, so this is where you're going to start. This is what they're saying. You're going to start seeing things working out in your favor. This is why they're saying, like, unconditional love, because it's just like, we know who you are. We know what you're capable of. We give you opportunities. You abuse the opportunities. Like, you utilize them and you try to make it the most. Sometimes we squeezed all the juice out of it. That's what they're showing. Wringing out an orange. And it's like it's dripping. That's how much of you've utilized this situation. So this is where we're feeling this shift. And that's what's making us feel, oh my God, I should hang on to everything because everything's about to collapse. And the universe is like, heck no. Everything's about to explode into beauty. So they're showing fireworks, celebrations. Hints of what universe has been saying. I believe this came out yesterday. So this is where they were showing that, your cup is running over. That, all the manifestations, all the crying, the tears, they're all for naught. They hear them, they see them. open your hands and receive, because they just showed me, like, in this year, this happened. And now, 2 years later, this happened. So, you know what I mean? We're getting, like, things are beginning, you know what I mean? Because I was saying, like, all I need is this opportunity. And you know what I mean? I'm doing everything that I can possible to make things move forward. Not make them, but showing the universe I'm ready for the next thing to come up here. They know what we need. They know what we want. So it's just waiting for that timing. They were saying preparing for that timing. This is another card I saw, was the Two of Wands. I was looking for this card, but there were so many cards that resonated. I'm like, okay, let's just pull them all. Like, I'm like, this is like a dang reading. But Two of Wands, the universe supports you in this journey. So again, there is the Five of Pentacles in here. So that's where it feels like you're doing this all on your own. They're showing like shackles on your left foot. You know what I mean? So it's like taking 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, or 10 steps back. It may feel that way, 5, 5, 5, but it's definitely not that way. There's a lot of things happening under the surface, and you know what I mean? So Anastasia, Healing Reiki Hope, even Amber Land Tarot was saying the same thing, where it's just like, showing them, and believe it or not, purging your home is, changing the energies of everything. Like, I was so excited to have it out of the basement, and then I was like, oh my gosh, no one took it. Because I'm the same way. I don't like taking things unless it's the cover of night. You know what I mean? Because, people are watching. Oh my God, what are they doing? You know what I mean? People, how they gossip, So it's like, oh, what are they doing? And it's like, oh, I'm gonna, give this a new home. And that's the way that I see it. It's like, now somebody can love on this and utilize it the way we weren't. Energy is picking up. So you'll feel yourself going back to your energy 79.7 or .79. So Eye of Wisdom, it's just their backup account. We're saying the same thing. You're going to start feeling comfortable again. We're in Mercury retrograde. Unfortunately, we had a passing yesterday, and you know what I mean? He was so great to us because we were teenagers and he kept us safe. So 707. You know what I mean? So 7/7 portal is tomorrow. So they're showing 707. So that maybe resonate with you if you want to do anything for that. But you know what I mean? It's just like, it's unfortunate, but you know what I mean? Like, I messaged his son, and I went to school with his son, and I'm just like, I was just thinking about how we used to hang out and stuff. And, I'm thankful to your parents that they, allowed us to, be on their property and, hang out, and we were safe, and, they kept us safe. Like, it was a little corner of the world. And if, like his son even said, like, you don't, when things were easier, you know what I mean? All we had to do was worry about going to school, and some of us worked during the summer, you know what I mean? But we always looked out for each other, and you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but my heart goes out to it. It's hard to accept it, you know what I mean? So again, the universe showing you that everything is lining up in your future. Your future is bright. Your ship is about to come in. So financial blessings. It could also be grounding blessings. You may be asking for grounding energy. Like I shared with you, I was asking, help me articulate the words. Help me with the wisdom. How can I change my prayers to like call in what I need to call in right now? You know what I mean? And I'm still doing meditation. Healing or sound healer Cody. I'm doing his anxiety, and I'm going to keep doing it. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's what's keeping me calm right now, and everything where it's supposed to be. I was supposed to do my freaking meditation after Shabbat. It doesn't always work out that way sometimes. So it's like, wherever you could fit it in, fit it in. If it resonates with you. You know what I mean? Again, this is all guidance. This, you know what I mean? Nothing's written in stone. You are the author of your life. You know what I mean? So there's like 21, 21, 21 here. So that's 63, 9. Things are wrapping up. So Hermit, more information coming out. We definitely got that with the first channel card, Page of Swords. I feel like it's time. I feel like you're ready to hear this information. Like with myself, it's like, catch and release. Is it going to make me happier or sadder? I feel like, again, this is part of the purge, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't want to know. I really don't care. Like, you know what I mean? I care, but I don't care. You know what I mean? It's just like, I can't even be bothered. Like, we've moved on leaps and bounds. We're trying to keep that momentum up and everything like that. I know not every day is going to be perfect. You know what I mean? Like, we had a series of unfortunate events, and it's just like, we're trying to put, it back together again. You know what I mean? And keep moving forward. And that's all we can do. In certain situations, that's what I love the shishnit out of my family, because when one is down, we pick each other up, like such a loving energies, you know what I mean? And that's what we need. That, you know what I mean? We don't need arguing, we don't need this, we don't need that. We had enough go on. So moving forward, we're, you know what I mean? It's just like, I know with the heat wave and everything, everybody's cranky, and I'm like, go have a shower, cool yourself off, get the sweat off. I'm like, I trust me, you'll feel a million times better. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like it's like mom isn't as stupid as we think she is, you know? And I was the same way. I was like, oh, when does my mom know what she's talking about? And sure enough, going, you go through a situation, all I hear is my mom, I told you so. You know what I mean? And then I told her, and she's like, I told you so. And I'm like, yes, I know, I heard your voice. It doesn't happen. All I heard was, I told you so. She started chuckling. I'm like, yes, yes, you were right. She's like, I told you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. You know what I mean? But it's just like, when we're young, we're stubborn. We think we know everything. We think we're invincible, right? So messages of everything balancing out, being more sure-footed. Again, your ship coming in. So these are different things. These are probably different answered prayers. Asking for yourself for the strength and everything like that. I know we're heading towards, the last handful of weeks, that we're, going to start back to schooling again. Another school year is upon us. So it's just like, making the most of what's left. So there, we get a lot of the Eight of Pentacles, so your work out on display. So this could be your actual job. This could be maybe your home life. It's where your grounding energies are being directed to. This could also be like they could see how your energy has changed. So maybe you were like, going inward and now you're smiling and doing your thing. This is going to tick people off. Who cares? You live your best life. You know what I mean? Like, enough of people controlling what you do, what you say, how you act. It's like, enough is enough. They are showing a rebirth in your life. For me, this is a cardinal. So this could be pregnancy news, upcoming pregnancy. There's, the cardinal. So like I said, like our neighbor 2 doors down is a cop, and it goes in his backyard, which is the loudest. It hasn't come over to our side, or it goes to the neighbor, adjacent our house, and they're 2 doors down or 3 doors down, and well, no, Jason is 2 doors, and they have more of seclusion because their house is further back on the street. So you know what I mean? It's more isolated and it's more their own little sanctuary, which I love. You could really hear him back there as well because he really echoes. They are doing construction, unfortunately, so I don't know if that's what drove them over this way, but this is the first summer I've ever heard a cardinal, period, in 9 years. So, in 10 summers. But it's nice to hear, you know what I mean? It's like a nice symbol of like your loved ones around, like giving you positive confirmation. And, hey, I'm here. Like, I'm still with you while you're going through your adventures or going through this journey of life, showing that support system. So we got our angel of strength, signs and symbols like, angel numbers or sounds, shows, videos, songs that show you that they're with you. You know what I mean? Like, I've been calling in my late husband, and I'm like, where are you? You've been really, really quiet for a little bit here, but, see what happens. Maybe there's something I'm not aware of, which, I know where his heart, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I know what his heart is and how he is and where he may be, but, neither here nor there. But I'm just lucky enough that I was, as long as I have been able to smell and see and communicate. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you know, you know. But I feel like angel of strength is just, again, a reminder, this 10, when I got that, I was like, oh, that's brilliant, and then the star card was right after it. It's just like, don't forget. And rainbows may be significant. You may see rainbows when you're going out after a rainstorm or during a rainstorm. I feel like it's like, when you go through the storms of life, it's like in a gentle reminder, hey, we're here. But the sun card, you are going to be victorious. Even though things look a certain way right now, does not mean that's how it's going to carry forward in the future. So, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, we all want things right away because we're used to this instant gratification with our phones. We're used to, you know what I mean? Phones have definitely changed where we can, like, it's like a miniature TV screen for us, or a miniature laptop where we can search information, we can watch videos, TikToks, everything, or we're searching, what is this? What is that? Or whatever it is, it's like that instant gratification, it's there. So I feel like this is where universe is like, you will be victorious. Another major confirmation is that you are in charge of your life. You make the decision to move forward. We can sit here and be in a pity party, or we can make the choice to move forward in a positive direction and do what's best for ourselves, do what's best for the people around us, because our actions have consequences. How we act, how we react, how we love on people or not love on people, it's all choices. You know what I mean? And it's just like, how do you choose to act in this moment? You know, my son was teaching me that, you know, don't hate the person, hate the situation. I understand you're frustrated and tired. He's like, pray on it. You know, he is such an amazing young person. You know what I mean? Like, my gosh. So injustice again, so balance. So we're getting a lot of these balance cards. So like with the star card, balancing our emotions. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, we're getting with the two of wands as well, a support system. You know, with the scales, we were got scales before. Two of pentacles as well, being more sure-footed, being more sure about ourselves, feeling more steady, you know, as well as the chariot, the duality. Sometimes we go into internal cycles, sometimes we go to external cycles, you know, and you may be going into an internal one. You know, Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, so it's very emotional. So definitely, you know, hearing that news last night, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, definitely hit me, because like that, he is someone significant that, you know, even I think till like 22. You know what I mean? Because then I moved to a different location and I wasn't in that location so much. You know what I mean? But he was definitely a presence in my life, and definitely, you know, showed us like hard work ethic, and you know what I mean? And showed us to have fun and all, you know what I mean? And keep us a tight circle. You know what I mean? It was great to have someone that, you know, like that family that looked out for us. Like, I, you know, 1 billion%, you know, very lucky that we have them as long as we did. King of Wands. So this is showing you to follow your intuition. You know what I mean? I feel like because we're getting that Justice card as well, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, is it going to make us happier? I don't think it's going to, you know what I mean? Yes and no. You know what I mean? Won't know until, you know what I mean? I'm just like trying to keep for today. I'm not worrying about this, because that's still up in the air. You know what I mean? Today has enough. King of Cups, it's like, you know, when I posted that, it's like, how come, you know, you have such a big heart, but, you know what I mean? Because you're not supposed to get it from here. You know what I mean? You get it from up there. That's why they're saying, just, you know, again, open your hands to receive. You don't have to worry about that unconditional love. Going back to that 10 of Cups, you know, it's not, you know what I mean? That's why they're telling you, just open your hands and receive. You know what I mean? They love to spoil you. They're not on a budget. And they don't have any little strings attached like others do. So Judgment. So this is where they're they're bringing in that truth, you know, leveling up. So you may, you know, a new mountain to ascend. So you may have felt that your skills, so if you are a healer, your skills have heightened, information is easier. You know what I mean? It's, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, your sight, your hearing, your downloads, so channel messages when you're doing your readings and stuff like that. So it's just like being open to that, but also make sure, like with the King of Cups, make sure you give yourself time to recharge, get yourself in a good place before you take on the next one. The World card, everything is wrapping up. So this purge is wrapping up, and now we're going to get comfortable again, like I was, you know, Aya Wisdom has so beautifully articulated earlier. But you know what I mean? It's because it's just, that was really heavy. That's where I'm like, I'm going to stick to the meditation, because definitely I felt that Four of Pentacles. You know what I mean? Holding everything close to your chest, and the fear of losing things, or, you know what I mean? Not being able, not knowing, you know what I mean? But it's like, if we knew everything, you know, it takes the magic out of life. So because we got the Chariot and the Six of Wands in a single spread, this is an absolute yes. This is Spirit protecting you, guiding you. You will be the victor wearing the wreath. Because who you are, your heart of hearts. You know what I mean? Don't ever let anyone tell you that there's, you know, to change your heart. So we were just talking about this. The future is lining up beautifully. They see the purity of who you are and what you bring into this world. You know what I mean? We're not looking for accolades. We're not looking for medals. We're not looking for posts and likes and all this. We're there to be a good person, because that's what we are called to do. If you watch, you know, Passion of the Christ, or if you watch the newest one is The Chosen, my son was asking me, he's like, why did they redo this? And I said, because, hon, they renew it so that way it's easier to understand, and it's emotional, and it really touches on your heart, especially if you're someone that has been well versed with, you know, the wisdom that they share in whatever spiritual books that you read. It's like it speaks to your heart in a different way, you know. But where they, you know, if we go all the way back to, the older ones, it's just like, it hits a certain way. But now redoing it really speaks to the younger audiences that do have that walk in that faith, even someone like myself, like, to see it visually happen. We were watching The Last Supper on The Chosen this weekend, and I'm sitting there bawling, because we know what's going to happen. This is where you have to be careful with mistruths. You know what I mean? This is where I feel like the Page of Swords, it's like people are trying to take away this unconditional love that you have. They know what you have. And it's just like, because you may have to walk in your journey, quote unquote, alone, it's just like you're not alone. You have this unconditional love. And if you're lucky to have the sight and the hearing, that. It's just sometimes because we like, if you're someone like myself who likes to hold hands, you know what I mean? Or just rest your head on someone's shoulder, you know what I mean? It's just that connection. It's just, we're human, So even if you, it's just when you have a connection with someone, you know what I mean? Their presence is everything, and you always, always verbalize it. I always, verbalize it. And that's one thing when Shane passed away is like, at least he knew when he went to work that day that we loved him. You know what I mean? Like, he knew that he was, like, we were making plans for the weekend. It's like, he didn't know. You know what I mean? So, it's just, an unfortunate situation, but like I said, it's just, we keep moving forward because that's what he would want. This is where I feel like everything is switching now. And it's like something, like you're just living life and then something comes out of the blue. So that example where it's just like, I was getting ready to go to work. I got a phone call. I wasn't going to answer it. I answer it and it's, you know what I mean? An answered prayer. So, you know what I mean? This is where I'm like, I feel like something's coming in. I feel like, even Amber said this. She's like, I keep on feeling winter. I feel like Chelsea Gomez said the same thing. Winter will be significant. You know what I mean? So, I feel like it's going to be late fall. I feel like it's going to be that right around where it's about to turn. Like, everywhere is a little bit different, but for here, so like soon as November 1st hits, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like Arctic blast. I'm not going to complain because I even said it when it was cooler. I'm like, I'm not going to complain about the cold because I know what's coming. You know what I mean? We're very thankful for this summer though. Oh my gosh, we've been getting breaks from the heat. I'm sure everybody's saying that. That heat was insane. So going back to the star card, this is proof again of evolution of yourself where they show the strength card. If you have the chakra tarot cards, it's the evolution of the Fool. I was talking about this. And this is where temperance gains their wings. I was looking for the strength card and I think I passed it. But you know what I mean? Again, going with the star card, balancing our emotions. Very Aquarius energy. You know what I mean? And highlighting her crown chakra. They usually have a path that leads to the sun. They have daffodils over here. So, you know what I mean? These may resonate with the daffodils. I tried to grow daffodils and it didn't grow this year. Beautiful thing is, like we were talking about, there's more blessings on the way where new opportunities are come. You've outgrown your situation. This is what the whole purge was about, to make way for new opportunities. There was a gentleman that does healing, and he said the same thing. Where you're currently living, you're not being able to grow to where you want to. 555 on the timer. We've been seeing this for the past 2 days a lot. What you're trying to achieve is, your current job, your current location. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, this is not calling you to make radical changes. This is just saying, just be, when you start seeing opportunities, for, or knockings, maybe something more suited to your needs. You know what I mean? Maybe you've outgrown your home and it's just like, this is the opportunity to make that happen. So we're getting excited to start a new journey and we're going to ascend this mountain. You will be victorious. You got the 6 of Wands, the Chariot, you got the Sun card, you got so many cards. You got the unconditional love card, so many things supporting you, so many things saying like, this is going to, well, you'll see with the next card, change your perspective. This may answer a lot of your questions. Like, how come this happened? How come these events happened? How come this had happened? Because this was all propelling us forward. This is, showing us that unfortunately, in our life, this book of life that we have for, as we go along the journey, there is going to be some loss. Even I Wisdom said that the things that are moving out will feel like a loss. And unfortunately with us, was a physical loss. And now, someone that was a father figure to me that was, a grounding figure for us, that gave us security and stability. Like, you definitely felt protected around him, in our group of friends. Like, we didn't worry. There was a bunch of group of girls of us, and we never felt worried. We didn't obviously go looking for trouble either. You know what I mean? Who wants to bring that to anyone's door? But we all knew that we were good because we had these, friends of ours, that the group of guys that were with us today, are with us at that time. So if you have been worried about the future, we get a lot of like, Nine of Pentacles kind of energies, Nine of Cups. It's like, everything is lining up beautifully. In the Minor Arcana, this is the most positive card you could get. Everything is lining up beautifully. Happy home, happy couple, happy fur babies, maybe multi-generational family. You know what I mean? And it's just like, peace be with you, peace be on you is what they're literally saying. So this is universe telling you that everything is lining up the way that it should, and that you can rest easy. Like, it may not look that way right now because there's some rumblings trying to make you scared, but know that Pluto retrograde and Mercury retrograde are all about that. But it's like learning to just trust that, you are doing everything you can. And they can see that. Like they said, you are squeezing when they're talking about how much you utilize what they offer you. Like, pretend the pentacle is the orange. You're squishing the living nonsense out of this pentacle. Like, not even a drop of juice of that orange is wasted. You're eating the inside fruit as well. So you're not wasting anything. You know what I mean? You are utilizing that to the most where you can grow. Where you're grinding is what they're saying. So because you're grinding, they're like, you're gonna be fruitful. You're gonna sit there and see that fruit. I gotta write down his name. I just saw him last night as well. Where it's just like, he sat there and said, if you would have told me 7 years ago that this is where I would be, I would tell you you're full of it. Driving his dream car, running in a successful business, just a wonderful light and energy to, like, he's doing geocaching, like everything that he's doing, it's like everybody's interested in because it resonates so much. It's like, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that. What is that about? Geocaching. Oh, where are you going? Like, be careful, ticks are bad. Like, you know what I mean? You're genuinely invested. And yes, we only see a fraction or a window into his life. Even when he's opening up blind bags, it's just his energy and how he resonates. It's like, people will watch it because it's like, it's positive energy. It's like, that's what you need in the day. If you've had happen in a crappy day, you see him, he puts a smile on your face. But he didn't have to share that story, where he sat there and the opportunities came and he made the most of them, and he's continuing to make the most of them. You know what I mean? And he's giving back, which is the biggest thing. He's not a gatekeeper. He's holding the door open for others, but he's also being like, I'm not going to forget that 7 years ago, I was working a retail job, swimming in debt, and now look at me. Driving his dream car. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you gotta keep on living your best Delulu life. You know what I mean? Even when it doesn't look like it's gonna, you know what I mean? It's like, at least you're trying. You know what I mean? You're doing everything you can, and they see that. Embrace this brand new beginning. Yeah, it's freaking scary as heck because we want to know. We want to know how it's going to start. We want to know the middle. We want to know the end. We want to know everything. We're like when you play video games. GTA is on prepaid right now. Everybody's going to play the game. They're going to piss through it in like maybe an hour or 3 hours because they're constantly going to play it. They just want to complete the game. Now they know what's going to happen. They know the story mode. They're going to go back in and they're going to play it slower because they're going to do all the things because they want to, really invest into the game. And you know what I mean? So it's just take it that way. You can't just rush through things because in life we can't rewind and restart and play it all over again as much as we wish we could. But, it might change the way that things turn out in life, too. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I could change things, but it's like, you know what I mean? To be a bit better person. My children are 1,000 times better person than I ever was at this age. The brilliant thing is that, at least you didn't let that bleed over your kids and you taught them properly. Or the next generation, whoever you influence. They're showing, like, it's not easy to make the choice to move forward. Some days it's not. Some days it's like, ugh, like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we moving forward to? What's the next step? And it's just like, with, if you are, by the grace of God, in a group of people that you call your tribe, your family, you're putting swords in front of yourself, you're protecting yourself, but you are moving forward. And that's the beautiful thing. Because you want this adventure, when they're showing the Ace of Pentacles there. It's because you're excited for this new adventure, because that's who you are. You keep setting the bar higher. You know what I mean? Universe allowed you to ascend. They allowed you to achieve that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're excited for the next one. And it's just like every time you go through these new chapters and experiences, you have that much more wisdom and guidance because you've learned through certain situations what to do, what not to do. And no, even though it's scary, you keep pushing forward because as you called these things in, that they've worked out in your favor. Be open to listening to spirit too, though. Like, what they brought to my attention, which I didn't even freaking realize till now. You know, 4 years ago, this happened. 2 years ago, this happened. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Because they see, like, you are charging forward. It's all about forward movement this year. Major change of transformation. Scorpio may be someone significant to you, or you are a Scorpio, maybe in your sun, moon, or rising. But they're saying this is a time that, it's going to feel isolating. It's going to feel like a loss because, it may be, oh, God forbid, a physical loss, but it may also be like where it's like, it would served a purpose. It was either a blessing or a lesson, and it's time to move forward. So the energies are letting what used to keep you up at night are no longer keeping you up. Those, especially with the cooler temperatures here, thank God, because I am not a hot person. Like, even when going outside, walking sunny, I'm like, hurry the F up, it's hot. I'm like, I was going to water the plants. I was like, I'll wait till later, because it was way roasty toasty. I was like, nope, I'm not incinerating in the sun. No, thank you. Last card. So, there is a healing taking place, and that's what's the most important thing, is that even though this major change and transformation is happening, where we're feeling, it's like, this pain will be useful someday, but it's like everything is lightening up, which is beautiful. That's what we need. You know what I mean? I know we have one more retrograde coming up, but I feel like this was the major blow of this year, was just this, crazy energies. And you know what I mean? It's just like, if you had learned a lesson in this, it's just like, lay low and learn the lesson and lick your wounds and just move forward. Like, that's all you can do. You know what I mean? And it's just, some people are just feral. They're just so disgusting. Like, they love playing with people's lives and manipulating, and you know what I mean? So now that you know that that's the truth, like, that truth came, what happened, the darkness came to light. Now you just do as, your heart guides you. Let the universe guide you. Let them let you know with your intuition, like, just to zip it and not say a word and just be quiet. Be thankful for the blessing and keep moving forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick card pull. It wasn't very quick, but it was very potent. And we'll see you for the next one. May the universe bless you good.